everyone, this is Freddie with Superbike Unlimited, and we're excited to bring you another update on the ZX10RR Superbike project. We just got some very special KRT spec parts in, and I can't wait to show them to you. So first up, we're going to have a new exhaust system, which this is the kind of the crown jewel of this new system, this is the same unit that you've seen on Top Rack's bike, which is the Pachetti Racing ZX10R, which is also supported by Kawasaki directly. It's sort of like their satellite World Superbike. So we were fortunate enough to get this system, and it is beautiful. Unfortunately, we can't run this one right away because we're going to Roebling Road next, and they're pretty strict about noise limits. So we also purchased a second mid-pipe and canister for that exhaust system that it's gonna, basically this is just gonna be our Roebling can. Pretty much everywhere else we're gonna run this and blow out some eardrums. So absolutely beautiful. As you can see, it's completely tie, and it's just got an incredible finish on it. So basically, as you guys know, right now we're running a 2018 spec World Superbike exhaust system. This is basically just the 2019 spec. It's very similar. The only other difference aside from that awesome can is going to be this new style inlet for the header. So the old version, we'll show you, it doesn't quite mount like this. This is actually a completely new version. And the reason is because we have these special new inlets that go into these headers. So I'm going to show you that as well. We'll go into the workshop here. So here we have these really super trick new inlet for the headers. And the idea here is to basically perfectly match the shape of the cylinder head. This is actually for a special KRT spec port style, so it's not exactly how we have ours set up, so we're actually modifying these a bit to better suit the port shape on our head. But I'll show you kind of the idea here. So you can see the way that looks. And that's the idea, is that we're going to be matching that to what we've got on our cylinder head. I'm trying to see where our exhaust system is so I can show you what the old one looks like. So here we have our old full system. This is again the 2018 spec World Superbike exhaust, same one that was used by Pachetti and Top Rack, and frankly this thing is an excellent performer. It's very similar to another system that we sell that's available to the public, but it just has some very small changes to the tubing, and of course it has these lambda bungs for your Motec or your Morelli package or whatever, or if you're just logging through something like an AIM system. So that's the main difference. Slightly different tubing, slightly different diameters in shape, very mild change over the standard production system, and of course these bungs. So one thing, if you're interested in that exhaust, we're going to be selling that one because of course now we've moved to the new style. So if you'd like to have a World Superbike specification exhaust system specifically for the 2016 to 18 engine, we're going to have that for you. So we'll show you next what Tyler is working on, and we can show you kind of the difference and how it's matching up so far. This is our modified inlet for the header, and of course this is the Superbike spec version that Aero was gracious enough to provide us with. So we'll show you exactly what we're doing here, and we'll take both of them over here. Lighting's not the best right here, so hopefully you guys will be able to see this. So this goes in like that, and there we go. Hopefully you guys can see that well. The bottom side lines up almost perfectly. It's just the top. There's a bit of a lip up there that we don't have in our port shape, which you can see in that one. There's just nothing there. So what Tyler's done here is basically just smooth that out, and again, we're still working on that a bit, but you can see the effect it'll have here. There we go. The idea there is pretty simple. We're just trying to make it so that the exhaust can flow as freely and as smoothly as possible throughout the entire exhaust system, and might be worth a couple of horsepower. So we'll let you know how the results work, and of course we'll have some videos of the thing running on the dyno and on track, so stay tuned. All right, so we've gotten everything essentially mocked up. We'll just show you now. This is our new 2019 specification World Superbike exhaust system. As you can see right now, we do have the quieter exhaust on it because the next place we're going is Roebling, and they have a pretty strict decibel limit, and they actually specifically say no Aero GP cans, which is essentially what that other one is. So we're running this guy. Of course, this is actually a a cover. The sticker is yellow. I know people often comment about it being green, but that's just a temporary thing that we're leaving on there while we're still working on it. But and we're gonna have a carbon heat shield here just like before, of course. But yeah, this is what we're running right now. And really this exhaust is kind of a pretty subtle change from the other one. Of course, there is the change with the header design, which is completely different, and the inlets that go there. And then there's some small changes on the mid pipe. These welds are not present on the 2018 specification World Superbike exhaust. Aside from that, it's quite similar. It routes very similarly. There's some small tubing changes and just overall little adjustments, but it's really quite similar. So we don't expect to see a big jump with this exhaust, but it's always nice to be on the current stuff, and Aero was gracious enough to hook us up with this system, so we definitely wanted to put it on and see what it's all about. So let's move on to the other thing, which is of course our KRT specification inlet tube and fairing stay, which, as you saw before, it looks quite a bit different than the one we were using previously. This thing is pretty radical in the way it's designed. Obviously, it's got a very unique shape to that inlet, whereas most of them are quite straight. This guy is sort of bulbous in the way it's shaped. It's got this large kind of like expansion in the center. And then of course also we have this new mount, which I think looks incredibly trick, that's holding the dash. And again, we had to do some modification on that. We really don't work in terms of like custom carbon fiber stuff here, but Tyler's actually pretty handy with that kind of thing. So he basically laid some additional carbon on the back of this piece and on the front, and then we trimmed it out just so it would accept the connector for our C125 dash, because it was completely different from the Morelli dash. I'm not even sure what that thing's called, but it's quite a bit different. So fortunately, the overall size is pretty similar, so as you can see, it came out pretty nice there, but that's where we're at with that. We're gonna need some small adjustments with that, however, because it has sort of shifted everything, and we've got some clearance issues like in this area. This is touching the windscreen. So the next step for us is we've ordered a couple of different windscreens from Puig. We had a different zero gravity option and I think another one from MRA. And we're just gonna test fit all those and just see. I think the Puig is gonna be the first ones to show up today. And I actually think those are probably gonna be spot on. So hopefully we can just mount that and off we go. Oh, and then of course, the new fender. We're still working at this. Tyler's having to make some pretty unique fender brackets that are gonna sort of mount centrally to these two mounting surfaces here on the Superbike fork. So not as easy as just like an L bracket or something like that, like what we had before. So this is still a bit of a work in progress, but we're coming along on it. So that's where we are for now. Of course, we'll do some more footage once everything's up and running. I'll probably be testing some stuff on this thing today, and I'll probably try to do some tuning before we get to the track as long as we have time. So we'll have some footage of that for you as well. Thanks.